welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me here this evening, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And I got to say East Coast because the West Coast is on fire. The East Coast is not, so West Coast is. One thing the East Coast seems to have is a lot of water. West Coast, maybe not so much. Or maybe they do, and we've just screwed this up. That's kind of what we're talking about today. We are talking today about who or what or some combo is really to blame or responsible maybe for the crazy fires in California. And then is there something we can learn from this? Will there be any real change? Will there be any change at all? Can we learn something even here in other states or someplace outside of California? And I'm actually not sure. Like a part of me is like, nothing's going to change. And a part of me is like, well, maybe something will. But I think the most important piece, the piece that I'm really thinking about here is, believe it or not, the insurance companies. Yes. Am I saying that the insurance companies are the most important piece here? No. Am I saying they are an important part of this because they knew this was going to happen? That's why they're important, because they knew this was going to happen. That's why the insurance companies are important. In some way, shape, or form, the insurance companies knew this was going to happen, and they got rid of the insurance policies. And the response was, or has been, evil insurance companies. Okay, they knew what was going to happen. Shouldn't the response have been stupid government for not recognizing when the insurance companies start canceling policies that maybe there's a problem? I mean, that's the part that gets me off the bat. So yes, that part immediately got me. I'm like, wait a minute. So they knew. Not just that, the insurance companies knew. And then that guy Caruso had a private fire department because he knew it wasn't going to work. Like they all knew it wasn't going to work and it was going to be a problem. And the government said, whatevs. And you might say, why would the government say whatevs, right? And I've told you this for months. New York has the same problem. You might ask yourself, hey, wait a minute, Larry, if they knew this was going to happen, what was their plan? And I've told you what their plan is. And I wasn't joking with their plan. And now you see that I was right. Their plan is Uncle Joe will write us a check after. That's the plan. That's the plan. New York has the same plan. California has the same plan. We're not going to fix anything. We're not going to be concerned. We're going to let it happen. Once it's done, Uncle Joe will write us a check. Now, here's the problem. And to be very forward, Gavin Newsom said this publicly. Gavin Newsom wrote a letter to Trump, kind of trying to be kind of nice and kind of slapping him and kind of not and doing what Gavin does best, that kind of thing. And people asked him, they said, wait a minute, hold on. You kind of opened it up. Are you worried he may not write you a check? And he was like, yes. He said it out loud. I'm worried he may not write me the check. And that's my plan. That's the plan that I got. I don't have another plan. My plan is Uncle Joe was supposed to win this damn election. He didn't. And then when he wins it and something bad happens, Uncle Joe shows up. I shake his hand. I hug him. We cry. We send out thoughts and prayers. And then he writes me a big check. And I give my friends some jobs to rebuild. That's been the plan for at least a decade, if not more. Well, that plan is not working this time. For one of the first times in a very long time, which I think is very important, we as Americans, the second that something bad happens, we don't just go, oh my God, governor or president, save us from this. We're going, hey, governor, why weren't you ready for this? That has not been our norm. Usually when things go bad, we beg for our governor or for our president to show up, hug some people, do thoughts and prayers, and we go, great, save us, do this. That's not happening this time. And you might go, Larry, that's a bad thing. Well, I guess if you want Americans to believe in our system, yes, that's true. If that's your thought process, that will be a bad thing. But if you want actual change, this may be a good thing. This may be a good thing because now we're not just sitting back going, oh, wait, hold on. And the second piece, a lot of people are upset that the rich people lost a lot of their stuff. They did. That's true. And some people are like, good, the rich people, whatever. Losing your home sucks. Don't get me wrong. I get that if you're wealthy, you probably have more than one home and it's easy for you to move. True. Obviously easier. Still crappy you lost your home. But here's something else. Those wealthy people, they spent a lot of money in both taxes and property taxes, income taxes to live there. And they expected a fire department to keep their house good to go. And they didn't. Those people are not going to be happy. And that might be good for us, right? Because they might go, no, you're going to change some shit, or I'm going to pack up and leave. And they might. So we can hope that there'll be some change because of that. I don't know that there will, but we can hope. So that's why the insurance part, I think, is important in general. But let me keep going. There's a second piece. And I want to go back with the kind of the back and forth controversy. One of them is the idea whether this is climate change, and that's the reason or not. The reason why I want to bring this up is, does climate change exist? 100%. There are some people who don't believe that. That's true. Some don't. That's fine. If you don't believe it, you don't have to believe it. I don't care. Don't believe it. Clearly it exists. The question that we should be asking ourselves is it man-made or not? And can we do anything? And will we do anything? Now, the last part's the most important one. You might go, wait a minute, Larry. Of course it will. It's the end of the world, blah, blah. Yeah, but people don't give a shit if they can't pay their rent, if they can't pay their mortgage, if they can't pay the bills. They don't care if the world burns. Clearly, they don't care if they don't have a home, if they can't live their life. Now, I know people will say, but Larry, it's the end of humanity. Clearly, they don't care. You can be mad at me if you want to and tell me I'm crazy or stupid. Fine. People do it every day. You get in line. But the question is, will Americans do something to stop it? Not if they can't pay their bills. And that's the issue that people aren't getting. And there are a lot of climate people who are jumping up and down. We got to change. Why would I want to change anything that I do? And it's a serious question. If I can't pay my bills, but the famous people can fly around in their private jets all day, I'm not going to care. It does not matter to me. You can yell at me, shame me, call me stupid, all you want. I'm not going to give a shit. Clearly, we put Trump into office with a majority vote, knowing that Trump is not Mr. Climate Change for sure, knowing Ramaswamy is coming in, calling it climate hoax. We all know this. This wasn't a shock. The second piece is people saying things like, well, there's this, and I think one of the news people was talking about this, how there's a conspiracy to hide climate change. Shut up. I'm not even going to go where. Insanely stupid. Anyone who does not believe climate change is true, fine, but you already know of it. It's not like you somehow didn't know about it. You just don't believe it. Okay. The vast majority of Americans do believe it. The question that most Americans have is it man-made or not? Can we do anything? Right? That's the issue. That's what they're concerned about. That's the issue. So the idea of the somehow people that's not a thing. The reality of it is Americans, and I will bet the rest of the world, doesn't care if they can't pay their bills. Economics is far more important than climate, whether we like this or not. It is clear, it is obvious. If you don't see it, you're fooling yourself. Economics matters first. And if we don't fix that, it doesn't matter. Well, Larry, the world will burn. Then the world's going to burn. Figure that out and do what you got to do, because we're not doing anything about it clearly until we fix economics. That's the reality of life. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. That's what it is. Next piece I need to bring up here. If we really cared about this, if we really did, if we were like, oh my God, the world's ending, we got to change this. Okay, you know what we would do? We would do nuclear power. Oh my God, would we do nuclear power? I've been to my nuclear power for what, 7 years now, 8 years now, saying it's the answer. If we had started building it back when I was yelling about it, which of course nobody cared, but if they had all of a sudden said, Larry, you're a genius. You're so smart. We should do what you say. Yeah, that hasn't happened. But if that did happen, we'd have nuclear power plants built on the coast already. And what was one of the things I said we should do with it? Desalinization. Yeah, we'd have like tons of fresh water by now. Imagine how much fresh water we'd have by now if we had 2-3 nuclear power plants on the coast of California. But Larry, nuclear power, it's not profitable. Yes, because of how the government runs it. Don't do that and sell the water, and it's profitable. Done. But no one's will hear that. Why? Because we don't get paid off of it. Because as much as the climate experts will tell you, we have to make all these changes, they're getting paid a lot of money to make no changes. That's the truth. They're going to make you, like here in New York, you got to ban whatever, plastic spoons or something, because we've done that now. Now to virtue signal in New York City, you can't just give plastic spoons out. You have to ask for plastic spoons because that'll save it, I guess. First it was straws, then it's plastic spoons. The next stupid thing doesn't matter. We're not going to stop. We're just not. It's not a thing. So I wanted to bring that piece up. I also bring up the DEI piece that people are talking about. This is all because DEI. This is all about DEI. Now, to be forward, this is not all about nuclear power. It's not all about the insurance. This is not all about DEI. Is DEI a factor? It is. And some of you will be upset when I say it, but it is. It is not a major factor everyone says it is. It's not. It's not like, this is the reason. No, but it was. And here's the reason why it was. Because once the current fire chief came in, she made DEI her number one priority. Her words, number one priority. She said it, not me. Number one priority, and built out a whole separate group within the fire department, and she focused heavily on it. Does that mean that's why the fire's raised? No, it does not mean that. So I want to be clear. I'm not saying it's all because DEI. I'm not saying that. But did it play a factor? It did, which is why people who hate DEI have jumped on it because it was a factor. They have made it the factor. It is not the factor. It's not the factor. Was it a part of it? Of course it was. And Larry, you can walk and chew gum at the same times. That is a bullshit thing people say. That's actually not true. There's a limited amount of time and energy for every leader. If you focus on that, you're not focusing on other things. So something else fell apart. That's how the world works. So you actually have an issue with, if you focus on X, something else will suffer. Next piece. Was the budget actually cut? It was. And she announced it. She said it. She actually said that she was hurt. And it was 17. If I can find it, hold on. I think she actually said it. Is her words. Do I have her words? Maybe. I don't even know if I do have her words. Maybe. There we go. All right. Hold on. Let me show you something. If I could real fast. This is actually her words. She says it. This is not me. So I want you to, everything I'm saying, this is not me making it up. This is literally her saying. This is her saying it.
Did they fail you? Yes. Was your budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025 cut?
I can tell you, I'm going to even go back further than that. Again, since day one, we've identified huge gaps in regard to our service delivery and our ability from our firefighters, boots on the ground, to do their jobs. Since day one, this is my third budget as we're going into 25-26. What I can tell you is we are still understaffed, we're still under-resourced, and we're still underfunded. So with that, whether it's 7 million, 10 million.
But was the budget cut, Chief?
Yes, it was cut, and it did impact our ability to provide service.
Did the city of Los Angeles fail you?
I'm just saying that that's what she said, right? I'm not making that up. She has admitted that. She said it was 17. She said it was 17 million is what she said. So I believe that she's correct, and maybe she's wrong, but I'm going to trust her over someone else yelling 25 million or whatever someone else is yelling because they're mad or upset or whatever the case may be. So yes. So she did talk about her policies. There was a WLUK story on that, saying that she did focus on DEI up front, and that was one of the reasons why they struggled a bit in hiring and bringing people aboard. So there is some of that too, just to be clear. But that is not the reason, is all I'm saying. That isn't the reason. The forest management piece everyone's talking about, is that the reason? Partially, yes. But again, that wasn't the reason, but that's partial too. Did Gavin Newsom screw it up? Of course he did. Now, you might go, but Larry, this foresting thing is difficult and expensive. You would be correct. It is. Doing the correct forestering piece is very challenging. There's no doubt that's true. It's very hard in California. Even with the way NIMBY rules are and environmental rules, you're right. It's a tough thing. My point is, when the insurance company says, we're not even going to cover you anymore because this is going to happen, at that point, you have to find an answer. Now, right now, what Gavin Newsom is doing now is he is, by executive order, if you see what he's doing now, he's ending some regulations to make some things happen. If you can do that now, you should have done that before. That's his error. That's his fault. His mismanagement. Could it have been done? Yes. Would it have been challenging? Of course. California's massive. This is not a simple task. But you're the governor of California. That's your goddamn task. You got to figure out the answer. That's what I'm telling you. And if you know, this is again, Gavin Newsom's where his tweet, goodbye red tape. If you know you got red tape, why didn't you goodbye it 3 months ago? Again, they started dumping these months ago. Get rid of red tape then. End it. Get rid of it. Executive order. It's gone. It's gone. Now, imagine it was a fire now. He had done the red tape, get rid of red tape, and all of a sudden the fire is kept. He's a hero. He's a hero. But he'll do it after the fact. Why is he prepared to do it after the fact? Why are they okay doing it after the fact? Because of what I told you, what I keep talking about. Their plan is the same plan. Their plan is federal government writes me a check. That's their plan, right? That is their plan. You might go, wait a minute, Larry. I'm going to go back to your insurance companies for a second. I said, Larry, wait. These damn insurance companies, they dropped these people. How cruel can they be? Well, why did they drop them? Well, they dropped them because California caps how much they can spend. I'm going to go, Larry, it's a good thing. You don't want people having to spend so much for their fire insurance. So it's good that the government caps it. That's what they should all do. Well, in theory, I guess that's good, right? You can't charge as much. Great. Yeah. But then they just leave. New York State insurance companies have already left New York State. It's just too much. They just pack up and leave. Now, that's because evil insurance companies? No. The private sector, for those of you who hate it, and I know some of you do, you have to understand something. It's not evil. It's apathetic. It will simply react to the environment and do what it does best for making cash for the environment. It's what it does. You can be mad at it if you want to, happy about that. Doesn't matter. It's apathetic and it's not going away. So instead of us being mad at that, we should find incentives. We could do that too. That's another option. Find incentives. Or see it and recognize, they're probably going to be better than us. If they're taking action, maybe we should. Either of those two things. So what happened? California said you may only charge X dollars. I forgot what the rule was. And they went, well, we can't make enough money on that. We're just going to drop everybody. Now, again, they're evil. No. Do you think they don't want to be taking money from people? They're an insurance company. Of course they want to take money. If they have a choice of taking money from people or not, they're going to opt with taking money from people. So wait a minute. What if they go way high and the prices are so high, people no longer want to pay for insurance? What will happen? Well, maybe property values will go down. What? Maybe the property values will go down, and then maybe rents will go down. What? Maybe mortgages will go down. Yeah, because no one wants to live there because you can't get insured. Guess what's going to happen anyway? That insurance companies aren't coming back. They're not going to come back after this. They ain't coming back after this. They're not going to come back after this. Well, if you learned that lesson earlier, one more example if I could. I'm going to give you a huge list of examples to when government price fixing worked. I'll give you the full list and done. Because it doesn't. It doesn't work. In the short run, you get it's a great return short run because you get the virtue signal, which is awesome, right? See, I love you guys. I beat up those evil companies and I made them charge you less. See how good I am. Vote for me again. So that's nice. I do like that part. Virtue signal is nice. Good. And up front, they had to lower the price, keep it low. They do, because if not, they'll get fined or they'll go to jail or whatever punishment I've made up. So that sounds nice. There we go. And then eventually they go, yeah, this sucks. We're out and no one has insurance. Or worse, which is what California's done. California just insures you itself. So California insures you. So when something goes wrong, what happens? The government steps in. What's the one thing worse than insurance companies? An insurance company monopoly. That's the worst thing, right? So insurance companies are terrible. What could be worse than that? An insurance company monopoly, which is what the government is. So boom, there we go. They went from insurance companies to insurance company monopoly. What could go wrong? Actually, this could go wrong. What could go wrong is what we just saw. That could go wrong. That is how bad this is. So now, of course, the answer is, well, you know what? It's just a budget. If we just gave them more money, then things would be great. Really? Really? I mean, maybe, but I think it's the government that screwed up because remember that guy, is it Caruso? That guy who had a mall, and on his mall, he had a private fire department and it was fine. Now, what did they say about that? The private guy who's got tons of money, who's got private firefighters, that guy, he was able to keep his mall pretty much good to go. And what did they say? Did they go, well done? Why didn't we listen to you? I'm so glad that didn't happen. Oh my God, we should ask you for what to do in the future. Can we maybe copy your ideas? Can we find out who your private company is? Maybe we could learn, whatever. Any of the things. No. It was, he took the resources away from the poor people. I'm not joking. That was the response. The response was he took resources away from the poor people. So if he didn't pay those people, the firefighters, to take care of his stuff, magically the fire would have been okay, or just his stuff would have also gone under, which is what they actually want. Which is what they actually wanted. They just want to have his stuff go under. That's the issue. How dare him not burn like the rest of us? That's the issue. Versus, man, that dude was smart. What the hell was he doing? All right, how do we, like, you might go, well, he's a billionaire. California is billionaires. The people whose houses burned down, they were billionaires. They couldn't have figured this out. They're paying enough taxes for billion. New York State is 200, what, 30? It's 230 now? Whatever. I think 230. $230 billion now? More, 235, 240, something like that. It's like 230 something. New York State's budget is 230 some odd billion. California's is more than that, not double, because New York by per capita is the most. So California is more, but not by double, because the population is double. But no, we're more. New York State's more than California per capita. We're the highest per capita. Highest. California's right behind us. So they're the second highest tax collection budget in the entire country per capita. Number one overall, number two per capita. New York takes that one. So you don't have enough to find out how to do this? You don't want to, because your plan is Uncle Joe will write me a check. That's the plan. That's why none of it matters, because the plan is Uncle Joe will write me a check. And I will then decide to blame somebody else. And then after I blame somebody else, I'll punish them in some way, shape, or form, and I'll act like I'm the cool guy. I know I went long on this. I do sometimes, but I'm bothered because a lot of people are going to suffer after this, and almost no one's going to pay any price at all. What can we actually learn from this? We can learn that price caps never work, ever, never work. That the private sector is going to be more efficient than the government, always. Yet again, it was. And instead of us learning from it, we decided to punish them. Instead of letting them do this, we punish them. And then we decided on top of it, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to say it's all because climate change, when that is a piece, don't get me wrong, it is. But then let's just virtue signal on climate change. For those of you who care about climate change, I know many of you do. Is it helpful to now yell about Trump and how much he doesn't care about the climate? It's not. Because here's the thing to remember. Most Americans are not prepared to do anything where they will have to sacrifice because they see the wealthy not sacrificing, and it's not going to fix anything, and they can't pay their bills. Thinking we're going to all of a sudden change something is a fantasy. It just is. Again, for those of you who care, it's not going to be helpful. The helpful thing is recognizing what I just said as true. Stop pretending and fooling yourself and think something's going to happen. It's not. China's not going to all of a sudden change. Russia's not going to all of a sudden change. Russia's not going to, you know what? All that oil and gas, we're not doing any of that anymore. That's not going to happen. And we should instead say, this is the way it is. So now how do I handle that? Now, my answer has been and still is nuclear energy, desalinization. That's the answer. But if you don't want to do that, because nuclear evil, whatever, or federal government, whatever, okay, great. Then follow The insurance companies see what they're doing. And when you see what they're doing, recognize the world's going to end and be prepared for it. Why in the world wasn't California prepared for it? They should have been prepared for this. They shouldn't have gone, well, it'll happen. Then Uncle Joe writes a check and then we'll yell climate change. That's their plan. That's their plan. Let me grab a couple comments, Greg. You guys, before I go there, if you are watching, wherever you're watching, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. You know what that button is. You know it. It is the like button. And I know you like it because if you didn't like it, you would not be watching, would you? You would not be watching, but you are. So you're like, oh, you can hate me, which is fine too. You think I'm just a jerk. That's fine too. But I'm not going to be able to be here and be the jerk that I am. And you can't yell at me again if you don't click the like button, because then the algorithms don't get me out there and then I stop doing this. So even if you hate me, you think I'm a jerk, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Do that right now. It does matter. If you have not shared this yet, please do so. Share this on whatever you're watching it. Share it on YouTube. Share it on Rumble. Share it on Facebook. X. Put it into a Facebook group, whatever the case may be. If you want to super chat me, you can. You can super chat me on Sharpe Way YouTube. Goes right to the front. Or you can also rant me on Rumble if you want to. I'm on Rumble also. What I did notice, though, is most of my subscribers have not clicked the all notifications button when they subscribe. Most of you have not. So if you have subscribed, please go back on YouTube and make sure you click that all notifications. This way you'll get the notification. You might go, but Larry, I've already done it. YouTube decides to just get rid of you and goes, you're a bot, goodbye. YouTube does that. I would like you to recognize that, head back, all notifications so you get notified. And of course, those of you who want to become members, membership is amazing. Please do so. Click join, $49 per month. That's on YouTube, or on Rumble, $49 per month also. Click that subscribe button, not join, subscribe. Only during the live. It's also very helpful if you want to do so, right? Again, everyone matters. And John Sums, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate that. Each and every member counts. Thank you so much, guys. I do appreciate it. Yes. All righty. I'm looking here, if I could, on Instagram. Jackarino says the insurance market debacle in California has been a long time coming. It was a well-established and widely known issue throughout the insurance industry. Correct. It was. Same with Florida. Same thing happening in Florida. Same thing. Absolutely. We knew this. And that's my point. Government has not responded at all, Jackarino. And it should have. Why didn't it respond? It didn't. Why? Again, the plan was Uncle Joe will write me a check. And I said this months ago, and you guys laughed. I was joking. I was not joking. I look at their plans, and the plan was literally that. So, yes. All righty. If I could. Oh, thank you very much. Garrett, you are the man. Give it 10 Sharpe Way memberships, guys. If you want to grab these memberships, please do so now over on Sharpe Way YouTube. Grab the memberships if you could. I appreciate Garrett. You're the man. Thank you, my friend. Every bit counts. I do appreciate it. All righty. Let me grab some more comments before I keep going. I have a couple of things I do want to pick up, but I don't want to ignore you guys. And sometimes I get going so long that it just keeps piling up. So let me grab some of these. Peace. How are you, sir? Thank you for being a member. I'm guessing it's complicated, but all I can see, Newsom not doing the job. As a side topic, psychology has already proven that attractive people are believed more to be more honest. Well, look, you're right. Look, clearly I am not a Gavin Newsom fan, obviously. That doesn't take away the fact that he is a good-looking, charismatic person. That's true, right? Whether you like what he's saying or not, or believe what he's saying or not, the point is he is a good-looking, charismatic person. That's true. And because of that, you're right. People are more apt to go, well, I mean, maybe it's true. They're more apt to do that, Peace. You're right. And sadly, I wish it wasn't true, but it is. But to your other point, regardless of what's happening, the buck has to stop somewhere, right? It has to stop somewhere. You could say the mayor, you could say the governor, you could say the fire chief, whatever. The buck has to stop someplace. Generally speaking, though, it's got to be the governor. This is a massive fire along California, maybe the mayor. And I'm not even mad. Okay, let me touch the mayor real fast. I'm not mad the mayor was away. I'm not. People are mad. What was she doing in Ghana? Why was she in Africa? I'm not mad she's away. Sometimes mayors travel, and there was some thing she was doing for some thing she's doing for the federal government or something. She was helping out or whatever because she was a black mayor and it was a black leader or something like that. It's fine. Whatever. You do you. Fine. But if, again, you just saw the insurance companies canceling fire insurance policies, you don't have a plan, a person in charge, and a way to get back immediately. That's your fault. That's your fault. Right? Maybe the president said you should go and he set it up this months ago when you got to show up in Ghana or you make the State Department look bad. Whatever. Okay, it happens. I'm not mad. You got to go. You got to go. Okay. But this could happen. You have no plan. Look, CEOs leave all the time. They have gone whatever, but they have a plan. They have someone in charge. They have a way getting back, something. She had nothing. How do you know? You saw that picture of her, that video of her when they asked questions. She just sat there quiet, saying nothing. She was utterly lost. Utterly lost. And here's the worst part about it. The part that does bother me, and maybe it shouldn't, but it does. Just being very forward. When she acts that way, and everybody, I'm exaggerating, and some loud people are screaming DEI higher, it makes people believe it. And whether she was, I don't know her background at all. Whether she was I have no idea. I mean, maybe she was. I have no idea. It does exist, does happen sometimes. I don't know if it was. But my point is, it doesn't matter if she was. The point is, when this happens, people believe it. So that means the next person who happens to be a black woman who gets hired, people think, is that DEI? All the stuff that people say is bad, these examples make it true. That's why I hate it. It's like, don't do the stereotype. They can't wait for this. Don't do. And boom, there it is. I can't stand it. She should have been even better. And people say, well, Larry, it's not fair. Why does it be any better? Because this is the world that we live in. It's how it works. Stop shaming people and look at reality. She is the mayor of the second largest city in the country. You gotta be extra good, period. You just have to be. You can say it's unfair. Great, it's unfair. Shake your finger at somebody. Wonderful. It's still true. Hasn't changed anything. Doesn't make anything better. The shaming shit doesn't work anymore. We can stop it already. Just drives me crazy. So over on Instagram, Christian says, is Biden even still president? He is in theory, but I mean, was he ever? I'm just saying, but yes. I will answer that question with a yes, is what I'll answer that question with. So look at people being pardoned. So somebody pardoned him. I'm going to assume it's him. There we go. If you see some of the people he's pardoned, clearly he doesn't know what he's doing, which means it's probably him. So yes. Vivek says, seems to be government incompetence that didn't mitigate the fires. And top of that, the caps on insurances didn't get people the relief they needed after it happened. The insurance caps, again, people keep saying this. No matter what happens, they keep saying evil insurance companies, they're raking people over the coals, blah, 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 constantly. The caps don't work. They haven't worked. They don't work. Remember, they are amoral. They are apathetic. You must give them incentives to do the right thing. Insurance companies, like all the companies, don't care if they harm or hurt. That's not a thing. They just care to make money. So incentivize them to help, and they will help. An example of that was the fire company that made sure that outside mall, Caruso's Mall, did not burn down. They were incentivized to do a good thing. And then they did. That's how that works. It isn't rocket science. It really isn't. So yes. All right, the AC, this is a bit off. He goes, what I was saying to you before, Larry, is that Don Lemon has his $50 a month members on as part of a panel pretty regularly. You have them on right now, and he has 5,000 people that watch him. Are you asking me to raise my prices for membership to $50? I could do that, I guess, but I'd have a whole lot less members. I guess just like keep the same couple members who want to pay $50 a month. Or do I have a special level of $5 than the super cool members for $50? Is that what you're asking? I'm not sure what you're asking me to do. Look, to be forward. Don Lemon is a terrible person and a pompous person, but he's way more popular than I am. I wish I was as popular as he was, particularly people who are on the left, they love him still. Well, not as much as, others, but yeah, they'll pay him $50 just so we can stay online. So maybe I should get a CNN show, and then people like me and I can charge about $50 a head. I'm not sure, but look, good for him. I'm not mad at him for it. I mean, good. I one day, hopefully I'll get 5,000 people watching me live. That'd be amazing. And then maybe I'll charge about $50 a head and I'll be like him. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. Joel says, Elizabeth Warren wants you to donate to Act Blue to help with the wildfires. See, Joel, Elizabeth cares about you. See that? So just give to Democrats, because Democrats will help. The evil Republicans, they're not going to help anybody. They want fires to burn, don't they? Aren't they evil and whatever? Yeah. So that's how that works. I guess. I don't know. I guess that makes sense. I'm not sure if that does. But clearly he believes it. No, that's not true. This goes back to my other point. Boy, oh boy, do they love when this bad thing happens. They raise money off it. Every single time. They raise money off it every time. Back to the grift. Ymir says, Larry for governor of New York. I like that. Thank you. Yes. The AC says, Larry, I forgot. Do you believe in climate change? Anthropogenic climate change. Do I believe that climate changing? Yes. Do I believe it is only man-made? No. Do I believe it is man-made? Yes. In my view, and again, I don't care if you believe me or not. It does not matter to me. Please keep watching. Doesn't matter at all. There is no doubt that the climate is changing. That's 100% true. People don't believe, they don't want to, whatever. It's just true. It's fine. I do not think it is only man-made. I think it is cyclical, and I think what we're doing is making it even faster. That is what I believe to be true from the data that I've seen. I'll do the thing that they do on YouTube. I'm not a climate scientist. I got to say that, or that I get canceled for misinformation or whatever. So I'm not a climate scientist. This is just my opinion. All the things to make me not get canceled on YouTube. So, but that's my view. That's what I think is true. But to my earlier point, it doesn't matter. And this is what makes people angry, because people are so worried about being right on this. It doesn't matter. It is so obvious. We've been talking about this issue for at least 40 years, seriously, maybe 60, but at least 40 years, seriously. And we, as humans, have done virtually nothing to stop it. And we're not going to. It is a fantasy to think we are. We're not. We have too many people who are across the world who are in poverty, who are going to move up. And for them to move up, they need energy. And they're going to take it. That is going to happen. Since that's going to happen, other people are going to go, well, they're getting it, so we're going to. And the super wealthy, they're going to fly around in their jets. That's going to happen. And we're going to fight wars and burn more shit up. You see it everywhere. It's going to happen. It's not going to stop. We can be mad, shake our fist, whatever we want. The question is, what are we going to do? We're not going to stop it. So how are we going to fix it? My answer is the same answer as always. Nuclear energy. I keep saying it, and I will keep saying it, and I will ride this onto the ground because it's the friggin' answer. I didn't use the F-bomb. It's the friggin' answer. It is the answer. Even though I'm scared. Are you more scared of nuclear energy, or are you more scared of climate change? Which one are you more scared of? Because we're not going to, and all the virtue signaling that we do, by the way, that we do, New York is the worst of this. New York's the worst. All the virtue signaling we do makes things worse. Makes things worse. We're going to recycle. We don't recycle. We take our recycling, we give it to somebody else, and we put it into Africa or China or something. They just take our recycling. We don't actually recycle at all. Not a thing we do. Recycling doesn't help. People get mad. I recycle. Great. You feel good. I do it because it's the law here. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't the law. I don't want to get freaking ticketed. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. It does nothing. We've been recycling for years. Nothing. It does nothing. Right? We got to pay for bags now here in New York. It does nothing. In California, to get rid of straws, does nothing. Useless. So yes, and doesn't matter. I hope I didn't make you angry, AC. But yeah. Anyway, Shan says, Larry for president 2028. Maybe I will consider it. Thank you. I do appreciate that. AC goes on to say, everyone knew this was going to happen. This is my biggest issue. If everyone knew that this was going to happen, why didn't they do something? I'm never going to stop saying this. You guys are going to be so upset at me, and I don't care. It's because their plan was federal check. Why would their plan be federal check? Here's the reason. Every time a federal check comes down to New York or California or Missouri or wherever it goes, a big chunk of that goes to their grifting friends. That's the reason. They don't care if it helps or doesn't help. They actually don't. Do you remember when we had Hurricane Sandy here in New York? It took 12 to 15 years to get half that stuff built. Nobody cared. People didn't have houses. Grift, and more grift. That's what it was. They had to make a whole separate department in New York City. So you figure out who's going to get what to manage that. They had to make a department. Lot of jobs. 10 years, 12 years worth of jobs. Lot of jobs. People still getting hired for that. Hurricane Sandy. Still here. Big grift. That's the reason why. Big grift. So, yes. All righty. Let's see. AC goes on to say, and Florida. Everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Yes. That I wish it wasn't. I wish it wasn't. So, yes. All righty. Let's see if I can go here. AC goes to say something else which is important. He says, let me see if I grab this right. He says, I need life insurance companies, though you're going to die. They try to limit their losses. This is my point. Fire departments and firefighting companies used to heavily be hired by insurance companies. Why? To defend their property that they don't want to pay for. That was a common practice. Why don't we have that now? Clearly it works. Clearly it works. Right? So they would have to either change the fire department, make it privatized in some way. Oh my God, privatizing the fire department, the world will end. No, the opposite. The opposite. California now was using prisoners to fight fires, which I'm not against that, by the way, at all. Not against it. Not against it. But then that's what they've gone to. They've gone to prison labor is where they've gone to, right? Now they could do it, the program differently, but the concept of training prisoners how to fight fires, I'm not against that concept. They could do a better job. But okay, that could be a different show. But yes, that is my point. So they try to limit their losses. You're right. So what did health insurance companies do in stores, in companies? Well, if you have certain rules and regulations, they lower your premium. If you have them have gym memberships or whatever the case may be, they lower their premiums. If you do certain trainings, they lower your premiums. Why? Because they're trying to incentivize you, the company, to do the right thing by your employees. Does the insurance company, to your point, AC, does the insurance company care about the health of your employees? No. They don't care about your employees at all. They care about money. But they do care if they're going to the doctor and doing and the bills pile up. That they care about. They care about the bills. Absolutely. Well, if you care about the bills, then they'll change how you act. Yes. John, thank you for the super chat. 49. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. So, yes, so that's my point. Incentivize them. I'm looking over at Rumble. I look at Rumble. Sheridan says, the water used for growing hay, the hay gets shipped to China. It's how we ship water to China. Ooh. The farmer has to use their quota of water or their quota will be lowered next year. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Or straight in, other option is you use nuclear power, desalination, and there's gallons upon gallons upon gallons of water, and the farmers buy whatever they need, whenever they need it. That's the other option you could do, right? That's the crazy one, no, but you could do that. And I don't have enough water. I'll just buy some from the nuclear power plant. I could do that. Maybe. That's crazy, I guess. Super Weapons, thank you for the $5. If anyone wants a good eye-opener perspective of the facts of climate crisis hoax, read State of Fear by Michael Crichton and watch his talk on it. Well, there we go. So for those of you who are not climate changers, there we go. There's a good book for you. Thank you, Super Weapons. I appreciate that. All good. All good. All right. Dave says, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Yes. Hold on. REM? Is that right? REM, right? Yes. Then I got that right. Absolutely. AC goes on to say, Trump has a concept of a plan. He calls it drill, baby, drill. And we voted for him. Yes. And we voted for him. Yes. The AC says a plurality. Yes, but no. Let me give you the yes, but no. If you win the popular vote over the other, America sees it as you won the popular vote. It's the majority. Now, literally, no, you are correct. But the way not every, I'm exaggerating, the vast majority of Americans see it as majority. That's how they see it. So you are technically correct, but it doesn't matter. This goes back to the climate change thing. It doesn't matter. It's how people see it, right? And that's the piece. So yes. Christine says, climate experts that don't have political agenda have done podcasts on how these so-called experts have only sampled the climate for the last 150 years. The planet's much older. Sky's not falling. I don't think the sky's falling either, to be faulty. I don't. But is the climate changing? Yes, I think we can see it, right? We can see that ice caps are melting. We can see it. It is changing. And obviously, we are putting a lot of stuff into the air, so we're affecting it. But I do not think that we caused it. I think you're right. I think we caused it. I think it is happening. But I do think that we are helping it along. To me, that seems obvious. I think we are helping it along. And probably going faster than it would have gone without us. And for us, faster maybe than we can react. That's my biggest worry, Christine. Can we react fast enough? The planet won't care. Sorry, are we going to make... Sorry, I had a cough, so I just muted. I apologize. Phil says, even with the people who believe in climate change, the debate between the cost of mitigating damage and the cost of changing the climate. Correct. This is the issue. That is the issue right there. If we're going to make a world where people are unhappy, if that's our goal, to make people to do this so that people are unhappy, then it doesn't matter. Then it doesn't matter, because we're not going to do it. Because here's the worst part. The wealthy and the top 1% are just not going to do it. They're going to make us do it. And we're going to virtue sit and think, oh, yeah, well, I'm not going to have my car, or I'm not going to have my house, or I'm not going to have my whatever, stove, or whatever is the thing of the day now. In New York now, you can't have stoves, right? That's the next thing you can't have in New York. And it changes nothing. And the wealthy still fly around in their jets all day long. So why bother? It's not the answer. The answer is cheap energy. And then and then the biggest piece, right? To Christine's point, if it's just changing, then we can't stop it from just changing. If that's true, if we're helping, we can't stop us from helping it by going to nuclear power. If we're actually causing it, then we can stop it by nuclear power. Again, nuclear power works no matter what. No matter what. And let's assume that we can't change it. It's happening no matter what. So how are we going to be able to build all the things we have to build if the climate is going to change and the seas are going to rise? Nuclear power. That's how we build the things so we can survive. Either way, that's the answer. It doesn't matter where you go with this. That's the answer. You can yell and scream about who's right and feel righteous about it. I get it, but it doesn't matter. We do need to fix this thing. So the AC goes on to say, Christine Vargo, they have been able to sample ice, of course, back to the thousands of years. English in Greenland, also in Antarctica too, AC. They have actually done, they still have a bunch, they have ice samples from thousands of years ago from Greenland and also from Antarctica, both. So they do sample what they believe was the atmosphere from several thousand years ago. So yeah. So Christine goes on to say, if they were really worried about emissions, they go up to China and India. That's the point they're not going to. Christine, you're right. Are you going to tell people in India, people in China, India heavily? I mean, the poverty, there's at least 50 million people in India who live what they call hand to mouth, which means if they don't work that day, they don't eat. Let me say it again. If they don't work that day, they don't eat that day. There's at least 50 million Indians who are in that world now. You going to tell them? Yeah, climate change, you don't get to eat. Sorry, you don't get to eat. Sad part is we tried that during the lockdowns. We did. India said to stop that because you lock those people down, they can't eat. 50 million people don't get to eat for 2 weeks. 2 weeks to stop the curve. I guess you don't eat for 2 weeks. Yeah. So when you have that kind of poverty in the world, luckily in America, we don't have that kind of poverty, right? That's when they were lucky. That kind of stuff, we don't, we don't have that here. But China does. Has the same thing. So is India. I don't know how many China has. I only happen to know the stat from India. I'm sure there's a similar stat in China. I just don't know that stat. But that's the stat in India. At least 50 million people who, if they don't work, they don't eat. Yeah. Michael says, if you think politicians can control the weather, you're a flipping moron. They can't even balance the budget. Well, let me go one step further. Do they want to? See, I'm not sure they want to, Michael, even if they could. There are people in government who know how to balance the budget. They exist. Those people exist. They're not doing it, though. They're not doing it. So, yeah. Yeah. Pigabell says the typical American lifestyle of hyper-consumerism is unsustainable. If most people knew the true human and planetary impact of cheap goods delivered quickly, the way we consume would be very different. Yes, I agree with you on several points. Number one, for a lot of Americans, yes. Europeans too, a huge chunk of East Asians also. But for most of the world, without cheap goods, they don't eat. So I think it's two different worlds in that regard, right? You got to worry about the people who physically, like, again, they don't eat unless someone has some cheap goods somewhere for them to deliver, sell, create, make something, right? So they have to go do these things. So I think that's a piece also. And the second piece is it may be unsustainable. It may not be unsustainable, but it's not changing in the short term. Not changing. Think about what's happening now in America. We have been in a recession for at least a year, right? People don't want to say that, but it's true. At least a year. Been in a recession for at least a year. You've seen a lot of, it's all coming to fruition now, showing the fake jobs, people being laid off. So what's happening? When this happens, of course, Pinkerbell, Americans now go, great, okay, now that that's happened, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut back on my spending. I'm going to be more frugal. No. We go, I guess I'm going to have more credit card debt then. I guess I'm just not going to pay my student loans. I guess my credit will go down to, whatever low number. 500, was that low? Whatever. I don't even know what credit scores are. Whatever. Going to go down to 500, whatever. I guess so. We learned nothing. The crash of 2008 happened. Remember that? I remember that big time. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I had it all done. I thought I had all the answers, Pickerbell. I thought I was the smartest guy in the room. And I got my ass kicked. Shut my business down, fired my employees. I got my ass kicked. So at least I did learn something from that. Something. Most people, right back into debt. Right back in. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying we're not doing anything about it. At least in the short term, we're not. At all. AC says you could actually do desalination as a byproduct of nuclear reactor. Yes, yes, and yes. Can we just keep saying yes? Because all that's true. I keep saying it and it keeps happening. Yes. Absolutely. So Grace says more private firefighters would help. Here's the thing most of us don't know. About 40% of all firefighters across the country are private. It's a lot. It's a thing. It's a thing. It is definitely a thing. So yes. All righty. What I want to talk about here, if I could, is what I think will happen now with insurance. I think insurance is the canary in the coal mine, if that makes any sense, and we should be paying attention to what they're doing. If we go back to trying to punish insurance companies, what's going to wind up happening is they're all going to leave California. And you're just going to have California, they're going to pass some law saying California will insure people, something like that. The worst part about that piece is we go from insurance companies to insurance company monopoly. We go to more people working for the government, less for the private sector, more government control, never makes things better, always makes things worse, and will make things more expensive. And here's the next part. If they outlaw, and that's what's happening, if there's no way for the wealthy to have insurance, they're basically outlawing it, the wealthy will leave. The wealthy will just leave. That's the issue. Michael, but Larry knew what health insurance, the wealthy just pay out of pocket. They pay out of pocket. You're not going to pay out of pocket to fix your $10 million home. Just not. You're going to sell it and go someplace else. Lowering already California is losing its wealthy. Already. This is going to make things worse. Because the worst part is they haven't learned anything. What should Newsom be doing? Okay, he's never going to do this. But what should he be doing? He should be saying, hey, this is a lesson that I should have learned. I made a terrible mistake. I thought that this was going to be okay. I trusted X, Y, or Z, whatever is his story that he trusted. I thought it would be okay. I thought getting a check would be fine. I didn't expect this. This is my fault. He's never going to say this. This is what he should say. This is true. And here's how I'm going to fix it. I'm taking responsibility for my errors. And here's how I'm going to fix it. I'm going to change this. I'm going to stop attacking companies. I'm going to stop attacking the wealthy people here. I'm going to start seeing what they're doing. And so that other people can get the same benefits the wealthy get in my state. My state should not have a horrible wealth gap. I should be able to provide good services to my poor people, my working class people, compared to what people in my state. And what people should stay. He will never say that. He's going to say, Trump's not giving us money. It's his fault. Guaranteed, he will blame the federal government. Guaranteed. And he'll blame the wealthy. Guaranteed. Mark my words, he will do so. Gavin Newsom is going to say, systems didn't work. It was because of red tape that I tried to stop. I couldn't stop the red tape fast enough. I didn't know that the local people didn't have this going on. The assembly made too many tough rules that I didn't understand. The federal government was supposed to provide oversight and it didn't. They have to write us checks and help us out. If Biden was president, this would happen. If it wasn't for Trump as president, so that's not going to happen. We have to rebuild. You will see blame, 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 and blame. Now, this goes back to Peace's point. Gavin Newsom is a very savvy, smart, charismatic, good-looking politician. This might work. I know some of you are like, no way, this might work. Just saying, there's still a chance this might work. As much as some of you your head exploded, it might. And what's the reason why? Because the people who would be voting against Gavin Newsom are leaving California. Zuckerberg's leaving California. They're leaving California. How do I know this? They're leaving my state too. My state has literally, openly attacked anyone who isn't Democrats, attacked Republicans, attacked conservatives for years. And they keep leaving. Yeah. So that's where that is. Yep. So in any case, I thought that piece was important. I want to go to the budget issue. The second thing they're going to do is they're all going to ask for more money. The fire departments are asking for more money. The mayor will ask for more money. The governor will ask for more money. All right. Do we require more money? For the sake of argument, let's say yes, that there's more money. That's the issue. For the sake of argument, that we need more money. Okay. Where are you going to get it from? Uncle Joe? That was your plan. That didn't work so well. Where are you going to get it from? Tax people? California already pays the highest tax rate overall in the entire country. New York, I think, is right behind them. And then I think Connecticut. I think it's in that order, not mistaken. So they're already paying the highest. You can tax them more. You already have the wealthy flocking out of California like there's no tomorrow, just leaving all day long. If it wasn't for migrants, California would be losing population. California actually, I think last year, actually maintained population because they had so many migrants. New York lost so many, even with 200,000 migrants, we still lost people. That's how bad New York is. So we're worse. We're number one when it comes to people leaving. They cannot stay in my state. They rush out as fast as possible. They cannot get out fast enough. California's right behind us. So you can do that. How are you going to raise money? You know how you raise money? Corporations. That's how you raise money. You incentivize them to do the right thing. You incentivize corporations to do the right thing so they can do the right thing. But you can't if you just demonize them, if you attack them and punish them. Then they go, oh, this is not good here. I'm going to leave. And they go, you can't leave because then people suffer. I'm a corporation. I don't care. Oh, right. Yeah, I just go where I'm incentivized. I'm not incentivized here. I'm incentivized in Texas. I'm going to go to Texas, which is where Facebook is, Meta's going, which is where Elon Musk went, which is where Joe Rogan went. They learn nothing. And again, you say to yourself, but Larry, then they'll be in trouble and they've got to realize things are bad. Okay. Last year, the Democratic Party got its butt kicked terribly, lost like there's no tomorrow. And immediately they stepped back, they took a step back and said, okay, hold on. Let's refocus our leadership. Let's get rid of some of these bad leaders, bring new ones in, new fresh ideas. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They did nothing. They went, man, those guys got their ass kicked. Our people are really unhappy, but we're still in charge and make lots of money. We're going to change nothing, not a thing. That's going to happen now. We're going to change nothing, not a thing, not a thing. Kathy Hochul, my governor, New York State's been going down the toilet for at least 20 years, at least 20 years. She's been part of the government for 20 years. She's been flushing it herself, hand on it, flushing for 20 years. She was a congressperson, local city council, lieutenant governor. Oh yeah, all the things. And now governor, and she's been insulting people, telling them to leave. She said, if you're a conservative, get in a bus and go to Florida. Her words, not mine. And she said, if you vote Republican, you're anti-woman and anti-American. Her words, not mine. She said those words. And means nothing. And so what? And whatever. They will change nothing. That's the sad part. That's the sad part. So anyway, let me keep walking down here if I could. All righty. Andrew says, dang it, I missed 2 AMAs in a row. YouTube's really acting pissy this week. Guys, don't forget, as I mentioned, please make sure you're clicking the all notifications. I think I told you, most of the people who have who've subscribed do not have notifications clicked on. Most don't. So yes. Pick about right to repair. The guy who's all about right to repair, I actually did a show with him. I will put that up later on. I'll put that up later on. I'll put that up. Yes. Rick says, my guest, Larry, wasn't late. My feed somehow got on pause. Yeah, I don't think I was late this time. I think I was good. Yeah. The aces, I heard he was paying them $7,000 a day. If I remember right, it was somewhere between $3,000 and $7,000. Something like that. Yeah. Well, he's a billionaire, so he can afford it. So, yeah, absolutely. He's got the money. Good for him, I guess. He thought that was valuable enough for them. So, yeah. John says, Larry, I'm sure California Fire Department is struggling the same as New York with unfunded mandates. Yes. It speaks to your philosophy of governing. Let each fire department decide for themselves how to operate. Yes. Look, the reality of it is, I don't have to be a firefighter to make sure the firefighters run well. Not required. If I'm the governor, I allow them to mix and match as they see fit. Right? Again, if I incentivize the fire company effectively, then they will do what's right. Does it make sense to have one fire company here or two? Does it make sense to merge them or not? I don't have to know that. They'll figure it out. Why? It's their job. They're professionals, what they do. I'm the governor. I'm not the firefighter. You're totally correct. You put this in the right spot and stop creating unfunded mandates. Again, this is an issue they had. This is why people get mad. This is why the DEI thing keeps popping up. Because they didn't just have mandates on things with cash. They had mandates on hiring too, which slowed down hiring. Let the firefighters do as they see fit. Right? But Larry, then it won't have enough women or black people or Asian people. I don't care. I don't mean to be mean. I don't care. I care that houses aren't burning, people aren't. I don't care if there's enough of whatever. I don't care. That's not my thing. Now, if you're saying, Larry, there's harassment, that's different. That's different. I'm going back to unfunded mandates. That's different. Anyone who's harassed or bothered or such, you need to deal with that as anyone for any reason. Harassment, deal with that. Of course you do. Of course. But I don't have enough of X people. I don't care. Does not matter. Well, it'll be better if you do. Then if you, to your point, John, if you allow fire departments to work on their own, some fire departments will be more integrated than others by default, by people who are around, people they have to hire, people who they know. You then add on top of that, this is the way you incentivize them. If you're going to use that plan that you have in California, where you have the prisoners and you teach them how to fight fires. Now, the system itself isn't that great. And isn't that great because like for every 1 day you fight a fire, you lose like 2 days for sentence like that. You can do better than that if you're saving lives. You can do something better than that, but it's fine, whatever. You make it better. And by the way, California made this rule at the same time California had rules to where you couldn't become a firefighter if you had a felony conviction. I mean, it's almost like you wouldn't believe me if I put it in a book. You'd think I was lying. That was their act. They had to change the law. So they were training guys how to be firefighters in prison. They get out of prison, go to apply for a firefighting job. You can't, you're a felon. What? That was true. They finally changed that rule. That's government at its best. So instead, you want to have diversity. Well, I know a place full of diverse people. It's called prison. Train them how to be firefighters and let them out so they can become firefighters. Some departments will become more diverse by default. Will those be better firefighting departments? If so, others will copy. Why? They're incentivized to do so. But Larry, that won't fix the problem tomorrow, and I can't virtue signal. Correct. That's accurate. You will not be able to virtue signal, which I know is a problem because we have to always virtue signal, and have to fix the problem right away so I can get votes and raise money off of it. Therein lies the issue. Therein lies the issue. So, yes. Mike says, Larry, did Larry mention the DEI? I was just mentioning DEI. Yeah, there was an issue, right? Oh, yeah, that mocking, yeah, that mocked fire video. I remember that, yes. And again, it bothers me because that's everyone who's mad about this validates what they're mad about. Always. It does. Gray says, do you think the fires will kill Gavin's White House aspirations? 100% no. 100% no. Gavin will. I know a lot of you get mad because some of you text me. You get mad when I talk about guys like Gavin Newsom and such because you don't like him. I get it. I get you don't like him. I don't like him either. It doesn't take away that the man is a good politician. I didn't say governor. He's a good politician and he's tenacious. Not at all. He will keep going. He will keep going. Absolutely. Yes. Joel says, I don't believe the red tape comment and these people will not be allowed to rebuild. Oh, yeah, no. He just said that. Correct, Joel. Thank you. I should have been clearer. He said that. And my point was, if he honestly believed that, Joel, if he honestly did, he didn't. But if he did, what he should have done is upfront went, oh my God, the insurance companies are canceling stuff. What? Why? And then do what a good leader would do. Hey, team, go research that. Find out why they're doing it. Hopefully he has a savvy team. I hope he does. They come back a day later and go, hey, because they know a fire's going to break out. Oh my God, a fire's going to break out. Yes, that's why they're canceling everything. Fire's about to break. They can see. They figured it out. Their scientists have told them a fire's going to break out. It's going to trash the joint, so they don't want to pay for it. Oh, I better end the red tape so that people can start, fireproofing their houses, or so they can hire private fire departments, or I better put more money into the fire department, or I better tell the federal government to go take a hike so I can build a nuclear power plant. It will take a governor, I don't know which one, to tell the federal government, I don't care about your nuclear regulations. I'm building a power plant. Send soldiers in then. I dare you. That has to happen. Some governors do that. It's not Newsom. But I don't know, maybe Trump is president now. Newsom, if you're listening, it's not a bad PR stunt for you. Get your hair done. Maybe put on some like camis or something. You can put like a little camouflage on, pretend like you're a Marine, whatever. Play that game. Good acting for you. Pretend you're a soldier or something. You could do that. I'd actually behind you do that one. So you're going to build nuclear energy no matter what? Doing it. Send the soldiers in to stop me. So yeah, but he'll do none of that stuff. That's all just talking trash. That's me. That's my wishful thinking, Joel. That's wishful thinking. That sounds cool, right? But that ain't gonna happen. So anyway, all righty. See if I can grab this if I could. Andrea says, Mel Gibson said Newsom needs to spend less on hair gel. He looks pretty good to me, Andrea. I think he's got the right amount. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong. So he looks good to me. That's all I'm saying. So yes. All right, let me grab some more of this if I could. Phil says, Biden kind of proves that the president doesn't have control. The bureaucracy does. Ooh, what a very good comment. I like that. Yes. Andrea, grift is going to grift. It's kind of their thing, Andrea. It's their thing, right? They're called grifters because they grift. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Brandon says, Americans in 1776 revolted over 1% tax on sugar and stamps. Today we pay 40% for politicians to run the country. Damn, that's true. You're not wrong. It's true. And I'm pretty pissed off because I lose 40%. Yes. And I pay a lot in New York to get a subway system that doesn't work, congestion pricing to pay more money, pissed off people, dirty city. Clearly I don't love taxes. Obviously, I'm libertarian. But I'm just being realistic again. Most people, not me, most people would not be unhappy with a 40% tax rate if they got awesome, great stuff for it. Most people wouldn't. Most countries in Scandinavia pay very high taxes, to include the poor and the middle class, the working class. They pay a lot. In fact, how they work is they're by percentage, their working class and poor actually pay more taxes because they take advantage of more of the system, right? I know that's not the way America works. That's how those countries work. By percentage, the wealthy pay less. By percentage. Because they take up less of the system is their logic behind it in those countries. But they're not mad. Oh, some of them, but most of them are not mad. Why? Because you're getting free this, free that, free this, clean this, clean that. You're getting lots of goodies. So if you're getting lots of goodies, most people are okay with that. Again, I'm not saying I am, but I'm just being very forward. We're sitting in America, and in New York State, 22% of our budget goes to pensions. Pensions. Not to me, not to you, pensions. How do we make that happen? So my taxes are paying for somebody to live in Florida. Yes. Yes. Of course I'm not happy. Greg says, Larry, do you have a first responders plan for New York on your webpage? I don't. Maybe I should have that. It's not a bad point. Maybe I should have that. Yeah. Let me think about that. That's something to think about. Over on Rumble, Americua says, Larry, don't forget the benefits of grazing by livestock in these areas. Okay, I don't know. You're gonna have to help me on that one. You got to write something else on that one. That's not enough for me to get. You got to write more on that one. I appreciate it, but you got to write more on that one. Yeah, I'm not sure what that one is. Got to write more on that one, Mercola. Write something else to explain what you mean. I didn't get that. Maybe I'm just not enough of a farmer. Maybe I'm not. So, the AC says, honestly, it doesn't matter what is creating it. Agreed. It matters what we can do to improve things for us. Agreed. Yes, yes, and yes. That is my exact point. That's my point. So you asked the question. I did give you an answer, what I believe. But my point is, what are we going to do? Right? What are we going to do? So, yes. All righty. Greg says, the climate is changing. Yep. But I really don't think we can really do anything to change it. What we can change is how we prepare for those climate events. Yes, Greg. Thank you. Yes, Greg. Thank you. Yes. If we know it's going to happen, okay, you know what's going to happen. Got it. What are you going to do? It's like, what if there was a meteor coming? What are you going to do? We got to find a way to fix this thing, right? We got to find a way to fix this. Ryan says, so being anti-war is better for the environment? Yes, it is, by the way. Yes, it is. Low. Yes, it is. Yes, in many ways. In so many ways. 100%. So many ways it is. If you're not dropping bombs and if you're not firing those, firing up all those tanks and all those armored fighting vehicles and all those things, doing something else with that. Yeah, absolutely. So Maricua says, you use goats and sheep to clear the undergrowth. Oh, that's what you meant. Thank you, Americo. I'm sorry. I'm not, it's not my world. So clearly I didn't get that one. Okay, yes. I love the idea. So maybe they should have just thrown the goats and the sheep into the woods and cleaned it up. Maybe. And again, I'm not saying you're wrong. My point is, if you're the governor of California, you have to find an answer. You have to. Don't take that job, right? New York State has horrible problems, and I've come up with plans to fix them. Because if I want to be New York State's governor, I have to tackle those problems. If I can't find an answer for those problems, I shouldn't want that job. So Gavin Newsom, you might tell me, Larry, you don't get how hard it is to clear these areas up. Okay, I believe you. It's expensive. Okay, I believe you. And there's so much of it. Okay, I believe you. And fix it. What do you say? Okay, I guess people are going to die, lose their houses, I guess. No. Find an answer. Fix it. If it's goats and sheep, I'm in. Let's go do it. Whatever it takes. Yes. That's all I'm saying. So, all righty. Far NorCal Meech. Larry, up here in far northern part of California, we have fires like this every year, but they burn for months. People die. But because we're not wealthy movie stars, the media doesn't care as much. I have noticed that. It's a big problem. We keep having the fires up there. People keep having problems, and we don't fix it because, well, you guys aren't wealthy, so you guys don't count. I wish it wasn't true. Yes. Phil says, Noel Stomach Library builds reactors for the Navy in upstate New York. We should be able to power and heat our state cheaply enough to melt snow on the roads. Yes. You could even build the special Google roads. These are special roads you build, and within the roads, they have electricity in the roads themselves. That's how you can run driverless cars, and also heats the roads so the roads never ice up. Yes. You have cheap nuclear energy. You have lots of stuff you can do. Yes, lots of stuff. Absolutely. Mike says, since 1958, not one climate prediction has ever come true. That's accurate. I do know that. But nothing we do matters until China, India, and African nations decide to take action. Also true. Yes. U.S. leads the world in reductions. Doesn't matter. Also true. That's true, true, and true. All three true. Yes. So since we know that, let's go back to what AC said. And what are we going to do? Accept this is true. It is. And so we virtue signal while India, China, and now Africa, of course, now is growing even faster than India and China are. So India now, if not mistaken, has more people than China now. Because China, of course, stopped growing. India is still growing. And sub-Saharan Africa is just hugely growing. So yeah, we're going to keep all those people poor now. We're going to tell them, oh, I know. Yeah. Well, we have each of us has 2 cell phones and a house and stuff. But you don't get to eat this week because climate change. You don't get to eat. Sorry. Yeah. So we're going to say that? Or worse, people here in America. You can't pay your rent. Yeah. And you can't fix your car because you don't have money to fix your car. You can't pay your rent. But, Taylor Swift has to fly around in her jet. So you don't get to pay your rent because climate change. I don't care if it's true. It is. I don't care if it's man-made or not. It doesn't matter. No one's going to buy that. Mike is correct. No one's going to buy that. It doesn't matter. Nuclear power. Ram that home. Nuclear power. That's how it works. Yes. Ryan says, grift is literally your system now. It is. Yes. Grace says, every time a federal check gets cut, a Democrat gets his angel wings and Hochul gets a facelift. I mean, you're not wrong. Grace, you're not wrong. I mean, look, I don't want to say about her face. I don't do that. If you notice, I never mention the looks of a female politician unless I would mention the looks of a male politician. So if I was comparing someone like Gavin Newsom, who I do speak about his physical looks, I would then bring it, I might say, well, AOC is a good-looking woman. I might say, because I'm speaking about Gavin Newsom being attractive. You might go, Larry, why? I'm just being realistic. Women have been judged unfairly by their looks for forever. It's unfair as a leader. I don't care what she looks like. And I would only judge a woman's looks only if I am also judging a male in a similar fashion or way. Then it's fair game. I'm then doing all of them on looks, in which case that will be fair. Otherwise, you will never hear me say, I don't care how they physically look. It's not a thing. I'm not doing it. I don't bring it up. And you don't ever hear me say that. If I don't like her, it's that I don't like her. Her looks have nothing to do. Again, unless I'm talking about looks in general, then everybody's fair game. Otherwise, I don't do it. It just seems unfair, and I don't want to go there. So, but yes, I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. Absolutely. All righty. The grift is the big deal. Kim goes on again. It's always about the money. It is. It is. Yeah. Joel says, our government does not say nuclear energy is safe and effective. That must mean it is. Correct. John says, short of a nuclear winter, humanity cannot affect the climate either direction on how much money we spend. Ooh, if they were serious, they would be protesting in India and China instead of US and Europe. There's been some encouraging news on fusion power. I think you're kind of in the same boat that Mike is, right? My boss is same idea, right? If we're going to change this, okay, let's get India and China. And I think, Mike's right, you have to add sub-Saharan Africa now, right? Because they are growing so fast. Their growing population is huge. They have a massive population growth down there, which means the rest will keep going also. So yes. Grace says, I would love to see a nuclear engineer on a Sharpe Way. Already had one on. Talking about Gen 4 nuclear energy like 3 years ago. I've been on this in, a long time. A long time I've been on this. So yeah, I've been on this. Far NorCal Meets, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Yes. So I've been on this. I've been on nuclear training for a while. So I already did, but I can try to bring him back on again, I guess. I could try to bring him on again. So yeah. All righty. Ryan says, small towns and rural areas still haven't recovered from 2008 economic crash. Correct. After the 2008 crash, which hit me hard 2009 and devastated me by 2010, by 2010, I was devastated. The only recovery has been in American cities only. And if I remember the stat, from 2008 until before the lockdowns, 80% of all new jobs came out of 20 American cities. That's it. So people rushed to cities because there was no other place to go anyplace. There's no place. Yes. So Christine goes on to say, the 2008 bailouts were a travesty. Heads should have rolled. The market should have been allowed to correct itself. I can't fight you. Sam says, Gavin will never say it and voters will still vote for the same policies. That is my problem, Sam. I don't want that to be true. I don't want that to be true. Rick goes on to say, being a narcissist means never having to say you're sorry. Well, you can say it, but you got to say it in a way that means you're not sorry. You got to say things like this. Rick, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you took it that way. I'm sorry if you don't understand. Stuff like that. You got to say it in the most condescending way, Rick, like that. Like, yeah, I'm sorry you're so dumb. Yeah, that's what I'm sorry for. You're so dumb. I'm sorry you don't get how smart I am. Sorry about that. That's how you got to say it. That's how you can say sorry. So he might say that kind of thing. Or sorry he believed in somebody. There we go. Because someone else screwed him over. Could be that. So, yeah. All righty. Joel says, on January 14th, 2025, that's tomorrow, Kathy Hochul delivers her 2025 State of the State address. Prediction, so bad we'll have to laugh. I guess I'll be doing a show on that, won't I? Can I let that go? There's no way I can let that go. I could never let my queen go like that, ever. So yes. Joel understands how these things work, though, Rick. This is your problem, Rick. You don't get how this works. Let me tell you how this works. Joel knows. It's all Trump's fault. Also, Trump is the one politicizing this. See? You guys thought I was joking when I said how Democrats love the fact that Trump's still around. Democratic elites, they're not mad at him. They're not. Republican elites are still mad at Trump because he's taking over the party. They don't like that at all. Democratic elites are like, great, he's here. Anything happens, he did it. Doesn't matter what happens. He did it. It's great. And I can raise money on it. So I'll send her an email saying how Trump is politicizing this, what a bad guy is, never forget Orange Man bad, and click here to give me money. Done. Joel gets it. Rick, get with the program. Joel gets it. He knows how this works. Easy day. Patty says, have you seen the map of the high-speed rail from Seattle to LA? It was proposed in 2020. Same route as the fires. Is that right? Well, that would be one way of clearing the area, wouldn't it? There we go. Maybe. That's one way. Yeah. Phil says, I've seen that, Patty. It's wild. It might just be population centers, but it's very convenient. Yeah, I don't know if it's, it could be convenient. It can, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what it could be, right? But, anyway. Mike says, Biden guaranteed 100% of the cost for California for 6 months. Estimated cost at least $135 billion. No money from North Carolina. $100 million with many still intense. Bias to protect donor base. Yes. North Carolina's plan probably wasn't Uncle Joe going to write me a check, right? But that was literally, and again, I've said it more than once, that's literally California's plan. The plan is Uncle Joe writes me a check. And Uncle Joe's coming through with, if you're right here, on $35 billion, there we go. Uncle Joe came through. The plan worked exactly as it was supposed to work. Done. And out of that $135 billion, at least 20% grift. At least. I mean, probably more, but at least 20%. At least 20% of that is grift. So at least $25 billion of that is grift to friends, family, donors, companies, handouts to companies. Of course, at least $25 billion is grift. All I can say is plan executed. Plan executed. That's the whole plan. Yep. So hold on. Kim says, I'm sorry. This is about tornadoes. Pickerbell says, yep, a lot of people moving to Texas. We have a lot of space available. And Kim says, until they meet a Texas tornado, then they'll rethink moving to Texas. Yeah, but the taxes, and we'd like, you can get tornadoes with no taxes, or you can get earthquakes and fires with taxes. A lot of people are going to go with the tornadoes and no taxes. So I think we're seeing that already. We are seeing that already. Just saying. I think we're seeing that, right? So earthquakes and fires with taxes, tornadoes, no taxes. Yeah. Shane goes on and says, no state income tax. Yep. Better economy, cheaper housing, cheaper food. Yes, yes, and yes. That's true. Yes, absolutely. That's the point. So anyway, let's see if I can go down here. BAC says socialism for corporations and the rich. Yes, we get all the, America goes out of its way to just take the bad parts of socialism and for the corporations. Yeah. So we individualize the corporate profits and socialize their losses. What? No. You got to socialize both or privatize both. You can't. You're right. Yes, you're right. It's crazy. So, Louis Rossman, yes, I was on his show. If you a couple of times, if you go into Google, Larry Sharpe, Louis Rossman, I was on talking about right to repair. Yes, he's the big guy. Absolutely, he does it a lot. So he's a big deal with that. Phil says New York State has a lot of volunteer firefighters. That too. Yep, absolutely. Yes. So, Maddow says, I want to know the percentage of firefighters in the U.S. that are volunteer. I don't know. Mike says Larry quoted for, no, I was private. I'm not sure if they're volunteer, I don't know. It's a good question. But there are a lot of private fire companies that either cities or states, or not cities or states, that cities will hire, that groups will hire. They actually hire a lot of private fire companies. If I'm not mistaken, some parts of California are run by private fire companies, that they're not city employees type things. That's my point. Why wouldn't you want to have a private company? Why wouldn't you? And of course, the question is, well, then I can't control it. Yes, you can through incentives, right? Through incentives. But then, Larry, I can't have them unionized. Well, then let them have private unions. But no. But then I can't make sure they're public unions so I can buy their votes. Aha! That's the problem. Yes, you can't buy their votes. Doesn't work. 100%. So, yeah. Phil says there's a lot of paid firefighters in Albany related to the county executive. Many of them were low on the civil service exam. Ooh, look at that. There we go. Look at that. I like that one. I like that a lot. Yes. So, all righty. Let's see here. Josh says we have so much energy in this country. Let's use the energy to put people back to work. It's very easy to say that, but very hard to do that because of the way the system works. This is why we have to make sure the energy is cheaper and easier to get, and it isn't. So yes. Dave says, Larry, most candidates for public office are judged on looks. True. It doesn't have to do it, but yes. Unfortunately, looks equals competence for some strange reason. Is what P said. It's true, right? Looking good does make people think you are somehow smarter, better, whatever. It's true, right? It's true, but yeah. So, Ryan, thank you for the $5. Trains and rail are more environmentally efficient ways to travel. We need more rail in the U.S., but got to do it intelligently. I agree. I wish we had a better rail system. I agree with you, but we don't. But yeah, I wish we had a better system. Right? Many other countries have better systems than we have. Ours is not a great system at all. Generally speaking, the only decent system we have really is the Northeast Corridor. And that's not great, but that's the best one we have, right? The one advantage of living in New York City is I want to get down to DC. It's a 3-hour train ride. Done. So that's the one good thing about it. And back the same day if I want. So that's kind of cool. I can visit DC, see who I got to see there, and come back up in one day. That's an advantage. So, and sit in the subway and do work. Subways in a train. See, I'm in New York. I think about subway. Yeah, absolutely. So that is one good thing. 100%. Okay, let me grab that one. Phil says there was a nuclear train. That'd be kind of cool. John says, I've been an advocate for nuclear power since high school, 45 years ago. I know the feeling. We get the Navy to run the plants. They have the most experience in nuclear power. True. There have been some good news concerning nuclear fusion, more energy, no radiation. Agreed. Look, fusion's great, but I don't think we're there yet. But I don't care. Gen 4 nuclear energy will work until we get there, right? Until we get there. I hope we get to nuclear fusion soon. I hope we do that. Be amazing. But either way, I do think that that's the way to go, right? And is there some nuclear energy residual or waste? There is some. But compared to everything else, nothing. Compared to everything else. Nothing compared to it. Nothing. And the Gen 4 can actually use spent nuclear fuel rods. You were just saying how there's so much energy here, right? There's so much energy here. There's so much energy in America. True, Josh. True. But sitting, I think it's Tennessee or is it Kentucky? There's that big place that has all our spent fuel rods sitting there. The new Gen 4 can use those spent fuel rods. Those spent fuel rods right now are basically, they're the waste from our old style nuclear plants. The new ones use that. So we don't even need new uranium, nothing. Just take the old stuff, put it in that, and we're good. And these new ones cannot melt down. Physically impossible. They cannot melt down. So yes. Sheridan over on Rumble says, hold on, let me see if I can grab this one off of Rumble. He says, RFK Jr. had a problem with nuclear. Was it a liability thing? The problem you have with nuclear wasn't that liability, and that was the issue. The problem is old school nuclear power plants could melt down and devastate an area. We saw that, right? Perfect example of that was Chernobyl. We saw that. The new Gen 4, that physically cannot happen. Can't happen. Yes, cannot happen. Phil says, U.S. military pollutes more than most countries. Airplanes, Navy ships aren't burning love. Correct. The biggest polluter on the planet, hands down, as an organization, United States military. Biggest on the planet, bigger than companies. Biggest polluter in the entire world, U.S. military. Not even close. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So, just in case anyone was concerned. Yes. Ryan says, Japan spoiled me with their rail system when I was stationed there, 2003, 2004. I loved Japan's rail system. I agree with you completely. Didn't like their subway because it closed that night. That to me was like, what? How can you do that? You can't close a subway. I live in New York. You can't do that. So that was kind of weird. But otherwise, I agree. Like for those of you who don't know, if you have been to Japan, kind of anywhere you want to go in Japan, there's a train that gets you there. Like, it doesn't matter where it is. Any city, any town, there's a train that will get you there. And they'll get you there on time, clean, and relative compared to the economy, cheap. Again, relatively cheap. So I want to go to blah, blah, blah town in so-and-so prefecture. Yeah, just train. They'll get you there. Absolutely. Ryan's correct. And it'll be clean. And if it says it gets there at 7:32, it will get there at 7:32. That's how that system works. They used to do, I tell this story often, back in there were a lot of detective shows on TV in the 90s in Japan. I used to watch some of them. And they would do things like they'd walk down how the criminal, did the deed, whatever the crime he did. They said, well, the criminal, he couldn't have done that. Why? Because he was on the 7:35 train. So there's no way he could have made it there because the crime happened at 7:40. And they're like, yeah, couldn't have happened. That is how much they believe in the train system. It would decide that will be an alibi for your crime. I couldn't have done it. I was on this train. This train comes in at so-and-so, and we know it does no matter what. So clearly I did not do the crime. Yeah, he didn't do it. Yeah, that's how much. So yeah, thank you for that, Ryan. You made me rethink that stuff. I do appreciate that. You made me rethink that whole idea. So, all righty. Rick says, any politician who's supporting endless wars either doesn't really believe in a climate crisis or wants the world to burn. Ooh. I like how you see that. That's an interesting way of looking at it. I like that. Yeah, I like that thought process, right? You have to have one or the other, right? One or the other. I think that's kind of true. I like that idea. Yeah. All righty. Let me see if I can grab some more of this if I could. Phil says, Nova has a good documentary on what caused the Hindenburg fire. The surface acted like a capacitor and electrical charge. There might be a way to harvest that electricity for electric motors. Look at that. The AC says China just unveiled a train that does 288 miles per hour. Wow. Pretty damn fast. Wow. Well, I don't know. Where are you going with that? I guess you're going to California, maybe? That'd be kind of good. Okay, California to New York is about, 3,000 miles away, give or take, in that area? Is my math about right? About 3,000 miles? So that means I could go by train, in theory, New York to California in about 10 to 12 hours. That's not a bad deal. I like that. Right now, if I drive to California, it's probably 3 days, maybe, if I'm about right. 3 days if I drive. Could fly in 6 hours, but then getting the TSA and blah, blah, blah. I'd probably rather train that thing, tell you the truth. I'd probably rather train it. Yeah. I would rather train it than go through all the garbage of an airplane. I would train it if I could. That's not bad. I like that. I would actually train it. I would. That's awesome. I like that one. So, guys, if I could, I want to ask one more time. Click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please do so. I know I ask you all the time. Why? Because it matters. If you don't do it, people don't see it as valuable. This can't grow. It does matter. Tomorrow, for those of you who can make it, I will be in Albany at 10 a.m. Albany, New York, at the Maha Action event. If you want to check it out, you can. It's at teachersforchoice.org. That's teachersforchoice.org. If you want to see me there, I'll be there. I'm bringing my daughter also. And by the way, also will be showing up with me. The one and only Mike Voss will be there also. You want to shake Mike Voss's hand? He'll be there too. Come hang out with him if you can. If you can make it tomorrow, 10 a.m. in Albany, teachersforchoice.org. Me and other cool people will be speaking, but I'm the coolest one. But other cool people speaking too. But me, I'm the coolest. Guys, please share this if you would. Repost this if you would. It does matter. Every time you post it, put it into a Facebook group, share it on Rumble, Facebook, whatever the case may be. Make sure you are following me and subscribing. And when you hit that subscribe button, click the all notifications if you do that. Otherwise, how are you going to know I'm going live? The best part about this is me going live. You can always super chat me as you've seen, or rant me on Rumble also. But a cool thing though is membership, right? Garrett was awesome and gave out 10 memberships today. Every time you do a membership, it's $49 per month. Click that join button. If I spend more time not working and doing this, I come up with better shows, better ideas. The team's excited. We had a meeting this morning, very excited meeting, trying to make things work, trying to make things better. It is very hard to, as you know. I work during the day, which just drives it all crazy, but we have to make this work to the best of our ability. Think about it. Do you have any other shows like this where you can talk details about what's happening in politics live, go back and forth and have conversations. Not that many. This is special. Membership does matter. On Rumble also, if you want to click that subscribe button during the live, you can do that too. It is always going to help to make this move forward, if at all possible. It is good. Ryan says, I just shared this on X. Thank you very much. Mike says, yeah, come take photos with him, with me and him. 100%. If you want to, if you can be there, come do it. We will be there. It'll be awesome. Absolutely. Yes. Kim says, I stalk everything Larry Sharpe on YouTube every day. Please don't stop. Keep stalking. That is my goal. Stalk. I need more stalkers. More stalkers. More stalkers is awesome. Guys, I will not be having my radio show tomorrow. I will be in Albany, so no radio show tomorrow at 1 o'clock. But I will be on tomorrow, probably around 7, but I don't know. I'm going to see what Kathy Hochul's doing, whether I do a show with her tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm unsure. One or the other. Either way, guys, when this is done, here's what I want you to do. What do you think is the number one reason, number one failure, I should say, number one failure regarding the California fires? Please put that, if you would, in the comments once this is over. I will see you all